There's one more element I thought would be very interesting to look at is the fear of losing leverage when you put your arms down.
There are many fears and risks that are associated with a cessation of hostilities. One of the fears, usually on the side of the rebels, is that you lose your leverage. Now, the government has profile and status because it's a government and it goes into the United Nations and the African Union or ASEAN, and it's taken seriously as a government even if it's obnoxious and seen it to be obnoxious. We, the rebels, would be completely ignored and neglected if we put on our arms. This is our fear. There would be no pressure on the government. If we agreed to a ceasefire tomorrow morning, who's going to notice us next week? And you, government, are saying, and international actors are saying, to us, the rebels, lay down your arms, stop the fighting. Then we can negotiate a new power-sharing arrangement. My fear is I put down my arms and you leave the table. Who's to say you're going to come back and honour your commitment to engage in power sharing? I think you're a bunch of villains, so I've got no confidence that you're coming back. And it's not enough, if you want a ceasefire, to expect the rebels just to put their arms down here where they can pick them up again. I mean, you're saying put them out far away because we want to have a proper ceasefire. I'm vulnerable, I have no leverage, I'm not interested in this deal. Not interested. I want all of this negotiated simultaneously. I want to be satisfied that we have an agreement on a new constitution and land and compensation for all the wrong that was done to us and power sharing. I want to know who the new governor of my province is going to be. And then I will implement the ceasefire. Then I will stop hostilities, but not before then.
And what do you do as a mediator in such a situation?
In that situation, I think you have no option, really, but to negotiate everything simultaneously. As a mediator in that situation, however, I would try and convince the stronger party, almost always the government, to take some unilateral steps to cease hostilities. So in the course of the mediation for Darfur, that's exactly what some of the mediators were doing. We were saying to the government of Sudan, stop the bombing of villages, ease back on the terror, and that will make the negotiations that much easier and more relaxed. You are the stronger party, and to back down on violence is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And we're not saying make a pledge to terminate all violence for all time. We're saying now, in the interests of expediting these negotiations and building trust and confidence, why don't you declare a unilateral ceasefire? Now this is not unimaginable. Khartoum, staying with this example, has in fact declared, I think on 3 occasions over the last 3 years, a unilateral cessation of hostilities. But each time, within a matter of days, it breaks that. So all it does is deepen the mistrust rather than the opposite. If it were to honour its own unilateral declaration of a cessation of hostilities, the government of Sudan could unlock that conflict in no time at all.